One of my favorite stories is The Cobbler by Leo Tolstoy, and it was about a man who had a vision that Jesus was going to come and spend the day with him the next day. So he cleaned up his house, he got a nice roast, he got some fruits and vegetables, and then the next day came around and he heard a commotion outside. It was a homeless woman pushing her cart down the street, and he gave her some food. He went back inside waiting for Jesus. A little bit later on, he heard a commotion again, and there was a boy out there in the snow who had no shoes, and he gave him a pair of shoes. There was really 3 stories like that, and the man was upset that night at God and said, "You said you were going to come spend the day with me." And he goes, "I did. I came as the homeless woman and the little boy with no shoes." It was probably 8 months ago. I had the same vision, and I was walking to the movies to buy a ticket, and during Lent I was trying to find one homeless person per day to pray for and give some money to. And I was walking into the theater, and there was a real dirty, smelly one sitting on the ground, and he was holding a sign saying, "It's my birthday." And I was like, he's lying about that. It's not his birthday, and plus he smells. So I walked inside the theater, I bought the ticket, and I'm like, that's the one. And it's gonna make me feel very uncomfortable. So I pulled some money out of my man purse and put it into my pocket, zipped up my man purse, and I went out there and I talked to, his name was Lance, and he stood up, and I told him I was going to give him some money and would it be okay if I prayed for him. And we walked over off to the side, and man, I was overtaken with the Holy Spirit, and I wrapped my arm around him. I didn't care how much he smelled. I put my hand on his chest, and I'm not good at praying randomly, but this was a good one. And as I had my head down, I could see droplets of water hitting the ground like a flow. And I finished, and I didn't want to look at him. And I'm telling you, it was the fear of the Lord stuff. I knew it in that moment that that's who was with me. And then he went on to say nobody had ever done that for me. And we hugged, and it was just beautiful. And I just encourage you to do the same in your life today. God's going to show up to you disguised as your life, and never forget it. And doing for the least is way, way, way more rewarding than you can ever imagine. So go out there and do for the least today, and act like a son or a daughter of God, and you just never ever know how God is going to show up in your life. Have a great God day.